Welcome to Extra Blue. I'm your host, Elena Soneson. We have just wrapped up period one of the World Cup, and it came with a little bit of a roller coaster ride. Personally, I struggled a bit in Trondheim 2 weeks ago with a crash in the skiathlon and then some low energy in the 10K skate the following day. But I felt like I was skiing the courses really well with good transitions, and I had a really good race plan for those races that I do feel like I executed really well. It just wasn't quite fast enough or with enough speed. So I did try to take away the positives that I could from that weekend in Trondheim, and I brought them with me to the most recent races in Davos, Switzerland, which was such a treat to be at. Davos is an incredible venue, and we always travel there right from Scandinavia, where there is only about 3 to 4 hours of daylight at this time of year. So getting to Davos with sunshine and mountains and snow just puts a massive smile on my face. And I just felt so happy to be there all week long. I felt like I was constantly smiling. And I think this positive mindset really helped me keep a forward focus, and I had some really great races in Davos. I qualified for the heats in the skate sprint, and then I finished just outside of the top 30 in the 10K. And considering that these races are at altitude, and that's something that I sometimes struggle with, I was really happy with those results and the way I carried some positive energy throughout the entire week. So happy to finish off period one on a high note, and now I am excited for some much needed rest over Christmas break. This podcast is powered by Gear West, a specialty sports campus which has supported and inspired me for years. If you're near Minneapolis, their incredible 25,000 square foot store is just about 5 minutes west of Ridgedale and offers the largest Nordic selection in the country. And no matter where you are, their website is a fantastic resource for learning, motivation, and the gear. Everything you need to chase your goals in Nordic and alpine skiing, biking, running, and all kinds of cross training. Check out gearwest.com. I'm super grateful to have their support, and as a reminder, you can now watch these episodes on Gear West's YouTube channel. On this episode, I welcome Luci Anderson. Luci is a U.S. biathlete from Golden Valley, Minnesota, and a lifelong skier who grew up racing in the Midwest before going on to ski for the University of New Hampshire. After graduating in 2024, Luci found herself at a bit of a crossroads, unsure if she was ready to walk away from competitive skiing, but also curious about what else might be possible. That curiosity led her to try biathlon, a sport she'd always been intrigued by, but had never actually trained for. And within a year of picking up a rifle for the first time, Luci went from U.S. biathlon development camps to racing on the IBU Cup, the World Cup, and even at the World Championships, all in her debut season. For those who aren't familiar with the biathlon world, the IBU Cup circuit is essentially a step just below World Cup. It is still incredibly competitive and has athletes from all nations racing. I think it's something that the biathlon world has that the cross-country circuit does not. And it's a great way to help support the development of athletes in the sport. So it would be really cool to see the cross-country world develop something like this. In this episode, we talk about taking risks, learning something completely new under pressure, and what it's like to live between two sports, because Luci is also racing cross-country World Cups this year and last year. I think Luci's story reminds us that sometimes the most exciting paths are the ones you don't plan for. I hope you enjoy this episode with Luci Anderson. Okay, we are welcoming Luci Anderson to the Extra Blue podcast today. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast, Luci. It's been fun to have just seen you a few days ago, but can you share with everyone where you're reporting from and how the season has been going so far?
Yes, I'm excited to be here with you as well. This is so fun. So currently I'm in Lenzerheide, Switzerland for an IBU Cup. Um, and I just came from Davos, which was about a 30-minute drive away, so very convenient for me to be bopping in between the cross country World Cup and the biathlon side of things. Yeah, but I'll be here for a week. I race tomorrow in a mixed relay, and then we have two races this weekend. Yeah,
Oh my
and then
gosh,
Christmas break. So looking forward
I
to
didn't
that.
realize that. Yeah, I didn't realize there were already races tomorrow. Like that's such a quick turnaround. I was just in my mind thinking that it'd be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because that's how cross country always does the schedule. But biathlon does like midweek races, which are hard to keep up with
Yep.
sometimes.
I know. I didn't realize that actually until I looked at the schedule on Sunday and I was like, oh, I race in 3 days. Okay, that's great. But it's a relay. It'll be hard, but it's a team effort. So
Okay.
yeah, it
Yeah.
should be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you just had a fantastic weekend in Davos on the cross country World Cup. So congratulations. You're 25th in the 10K skate. So that was so fun to see. How are you feeling after that? Are you like tired or are you just like riding cloud nine here? Are you just carrying energy into biathlon races? How are you doing?
I'm really excited about it. It makes me like I knew coming into this season that I was feeling better than I was last season. So just like having that confirmation that my fitness is there is really exciting. That was, I guess, after the skate sprint, that 10K was my third individual race I've done this season because I've only gotten to do one biathlon World Cup individual start sprint. So it's really exciting for me to feel that strong coming into the season when I know there's a long season ahead. Um, yeah, but it's so fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. And can you explain to listeners, we've kind of alluded to this a little bit, but you are kind of bouncing back and forth between biathlon and cross country and then back to biathlon. So can you just explain like what is that all about? Is that typical? Are a lot of people doing what you're doing? Or what is this looking like for you?
I would say it's not typical at all. I don't really know anybody who's been able to do what I've been doing these past couple of seasons, and I'm really excited. I'm happy that I'm able to do it and that my coaches, both on the biathlon side and who I've been working with on the US ski team side, have been working together really well. And I'm able to do both without like making either team mad. um, so it's more it's more about like doing what I want to do and um, knowing what is best for myself and um, being able to do the races that I want to do is super important in a season where like there's not a lot of sometimes you don't get a lot of choice when you're a professional athlete, so it's nice to have a little bit of freedom in my season.
Yeah. Yeah, so fun. Okay, well, we're going to dive into plenty of it today in this episode. So I'm excited to chat with you about it. But I
Awesome.
do want to go back a little bit and set the scene of how you got to this point in your career where you are bouncing back and forth between biathlon World Cup to cross country World Cup, and bouncing to the US and Europe and all over. So to go back, can you share with us, what did skiing look like for you growing up in the Midwest? I know you raced for Armstrong High School and Lafayette Nordic Racing, but what did it look like for you with your family, and um, how did the sport come into your life?
Yeah. I started skiing when I was really little with Minnesota Youth Ski League. So I was at Worth every Sunday. Sometimes I didn't really want to go, but it was always a good time. So growing up, I did that. And then I transitioned into Fast Kids, as it was called at the time. I think now it's called Adventure Kids, maybe. It's a Lopit program. Um, and then once I joined my high school team in middle school at Armstrong, I got a little more competitive, joined LNR, started racing more. Um, and yeah, cross country skiing's just been a really big part of my life. Like I've all raced since I was in middle school. Um, and yeah, just like being part of the Minneapolis and like Minnesota ski community, I feel like is so special because I mean, there's so many people that are even on the professional circuit that are from Minnesota. So Um, yeah, I think growing up in that has really like made me love the sport, and I continue to love it every day.
Yeah. There's so much just wholesome love and passion for the sport in the Midwest.
I know, I love
I
it.
always Yeah, I always think back of like the Minneapolis World Cup, and it was just like bleeding pure passion for the sport, and it just like encompassed everything that the Midwest ski community cares about. So it's always cool.
Hmm.
I do want to also ask, so you obviously, so you skied in high school at Armstrong, and you were also, I assume, doing like junior national qualifying races. Was that accurate?
Yes, so I did all the J&Qs through high school. I think my first season doing J&Qs was my eighth grade year, maybe, and I qualified for the NENSA trip. So we got to go to the East Coast to U16 championships. Um, and that was so much fun because it was kind of a smaller group. And I didn't really know anything about the ski community, or I hadn't really traveled around like the US. So it was just so fun that skiing had opened up that opportunity to travel to the East Coast and like meet all those people. Yeah, and then going into high school, I then qualified for JNs all 4 years in high school. My first one being in cable. I don't know if were you there
Oh,
at that one as well?
Lucy, I am not that young.
My gosh, I feel like I feel like
I
we
appreciate that
overlapped
you
at
think I
some
was
point.
there, but I was
Well,
beyond my
I'm
junior
just
years for
thinking
that.
about it because who is there that I remember? Um, oh my gosh, who am I thinking of? Oh, Nicole Schneider and like I guess Margie was there, but Margie's younger than you.
Yeah.
I feel like at this point, I feel like we're all the same
We
age.
we do all just blend together. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. But I
Um. Anyways,
I've heard plenty of great stories, but
yeah.
yes, I
No,
was not.
Jan's was always a fun time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, but so I do want to talk to you about the crazy schedule that I feel like Minnesota high school skiers have. And I think more, they have it more than other skiers in other states because oftentimes you're racing a high school race every single week for your high school team, and it's during the week and it's after school. You go somewhere like to one of the parks to Worth or Highland or somewhere in the Twin Cities, and you do this race. And then you also do JNQs all over the Midwest, whether they're in Cable or Duluth or in Minneapolis or in Houghton, like they are all over the place. And there's three, four, maybe five of those weekends every year. And so it ends up being this massive schedule of racing where you are
Mhm.
racing 1 to 3 times a week, every single week for like 3 months, essentially. So, how did you balance all of that in high school? And what did that look like?
Yeah, I do remember that chaotic schedule. Um, just like either having a Wednesday or Thursday race at Elm Creek. All of our
Yeah,
races
yeah,
in high school were at Elm Creek. So just a double pull fest, basically. Um, yeah, but honestly, it was all just part of the fun, I feel like. Like it was a lot of racing, but I do remember in high school when we would have JQs on the weekend, we would kind of do the high school races more like an L3, um,
hmm
just to save ourselves for the weekend. So it was more like the schedule that I'm on now, where I'll do like an L3 interval workout on a Tuesday or Wednesday before a weekend race. So maybe that prepared me, for this chaotic professional skiing schedule as
yeah,
well.
sure.
Yeah, but I do remember missing so much school in high school for skiing. Just like weeks at a time for JNs or nationals. Um, but teachers were always good at working around that, so it worked
Yeah.
out.
Do you have any advice for a high schooler in Minnesota who
Hmm.
is doing all of the high school races and these junior national qualifying races every single week? how do they balance that? How do they
Hmm.
maintain it throughout the season and then throughout like their entire high school career? I mean, you said you started doing these JNQs in eighth grade. So to do that for 5 years until your senior year, that's a lot. So any advice you'd give
Yeah.
them?
Um, I would say make sure that you're having fun
Hmm.
because just like try not to put that much pressure on yourself because it's a long, like high school is pretty, it's short, but it's long, you know, you have 4 years of racing and if you're not like, oh, I don't know how I want to word this. um, but like if you're not performing, I guess, as well as you'd like to be, like there's so much growth that happens during high school and like you never know where you can be in even just a year. So um yeah.
Yeah, I think I kind of I think I know what you're saying in that like there's still so much more potential out there for you beyond high school where whether you are
Mhm.
performing at your best in high school or not, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to determine what comes next. And I think it goes both ways in that I've seen high schoolers like have this breakout season and
Mhm.
then they win junior nationals and then they go to college and we never see them again. Or I know plenty of high schoolers who maybe never even qualified for junior nationals. Like for example, another Minnesota skier, Erin Bianco, she never went to a single junior nationals and now she's racing World Cup.
Yeah.
So that's like a crazy, crazy situation, right? And so I think high school is such a um, big like developmental phase for a lot of these skiers, and it doesn't mean that it's pointing you down one path for the rest of your ski career or not.
Mhm.
And there's still so much more out there. So
Yeah,
have
and there's
fun
really
while you're
no
doing it.
one right way to do it. Oh, yeah, there's no one right way to do it. Like, you might think that everybody's like qualifying for JNs and going and leaving you in the dust, but like that's so not true. Like, I didn't qualify for my first JNs, and then every year that I went, I wasn't really successful, I'd say, until my like junior, senior year in high school. Um, yeah, but like just making sure that you're doing it for the fun of it and not for the results because it can vary.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so then after high school skiing in Minnesota, you went on to ski for University of New Hampshire. So I'm curious, what made you pick New Hampshire, and then how did your skiing and your time at UNH shape you as both an athlete and a person?
Whoa, big question, kind of, I feel like.
Get into
Um,
it.
yeah. So I chose UNH mostly because of the financial support that they were going to be able to offer me. Um, and I know that there are colleges in the Midwest and on the West Coast that have offer a lot more financial support, but on the East Coast, I think it's really only UVM and UNH that offer any like athletic. So UNH was kind of my best option. I also really liked the team. I went and did an official visit, and I really liked all of them. And also, my sister was on the East Coast, so that kind of pushed me towards going east. And I didn't really want to be in the Midwest because I had grown up doing all those JNQ races against the college athletes. I felt like I knew what was going on in the Midwest. Maybe I just wanted something different. Um, but yeah, I really liked the East Coast. It was so much fun. It was honestly like one of the best decisions of my life to move to the East Coast and experience that ski community. Um, and like the carnival circuit is so much fun. And I know you got to do that too. So we definitely had a good time out there. Um, yeah, but UNH also was a good pick because it's a state school. There's a lot of research going on there. So I studied bioengineering and there was so much like so so what's the word? so many resources to like so many resources and options and like different majors I could do, and I really enjoyed the flexibility of going to UNH. Um, and the fact that it's like an hour from Boston, that was really nice for flights and
Hmm.
going home. Yeah.
Nice. And so, how did your time then as an athlete at UNH, how did that develop over those 4 years?
hmm Um, Honestly, being on the UNH ski team, like I feel like we prioritized having fun and like making sure that we were having fun, and like we were all friends, so it was like every weekend was just like a little getaway with your buddies, and then the racing was also very important, but it was just it was fun. And then um also I didn't really think while I was at UNH that I was going to continue skiing after college. Um but so my freshman year was COVID in the
Mm,
spring, and I was at NCAA's that year when COVID happened, and we got sent home, and all that shit happened. So
hmm.
then because of that, I got an extra fifth year. And I think
Okay.
that doing that fifth year was really like pivotal in my ski career, because I kind of realized that, oh, like I don't really need to go straight into the workforce. I don't need to go get a real job. I can like continue this passion as long as I'm still good at it and like still enjoy what I'm doing. Um, so yeah.
Yeah. I think it is cool that, like, I think COVID, obviously, there were so many negatives about COVID. Well, obviously, right? But then there are
Yeah.
these other kind of amazing opportunities that came out of COVID, like being able to have a fifth year of eligibility at school and being able to take that extra year to explore what the sport means to you and
hmm
your interest in continuing with the sport beyond college, and look at where you are now. So that's pretty cool that it did lead to that opportunity for you. But I'm curious then, up until this point, so you graduate from UNH, had you ever even thought about biathlon, or had you tried biathlon at this point? And what made you think like, oh, I'm gonna go give this a try over here?
Yeah. So I first tried biathlon at my senior year NCAA's in Lake Placid. USBA had set up like some targets. They brought some rifles in for people to try, and I went and tried it out. And my coach was like, "Lucy, if you're serious about doing biathlon, like you should do biathlon. Like you if it's not just some fun little like, oh yeah, like I would try that. Um, Go talk to somebody, like actually make something happen." And so I talked to another UNH graduate, Claire Egan, who is she retired I think like 3 years ago from biathlon. I'm not sure on that one. But I talked to her, and she was like, yeah, I hadn't tried biathlon until I graduated from UNH, and it led to this amazing career for me. And so from that conversation, I then applied for this program that US Biathlon has called Project X, and they take high level cross country skiers and turn them into biathletes basically. And so I was able to do a camp. It was a mini like 1 week camp after I graduated for my senior year, for my fourth year at UNH. So I did one camp, like tried biathlon out, and then kind of forgot about it, put it in my back pocket, went and did a grad year at UNH. And then US Biathlon reached out to me again and was like, hey, like, you could come do biathlon full time. And at this point, I hadn't really had any amazing ski results, so I wasn't super confident on just going right into a professional ski career. And biathlon was an option that seemed really exciting to me. So, all not this past summer, but summer 2024, I just trained full on biathlon and loved it. I loved the team. And then last winter, when I got to go do a whole biathlon circuit, it was just so much fun. And like being able to be on the biathlon World Cup circuit and like meeting new people and like learning how amazing the biathlon family is, I'm hooked. I love it. So fun.
That's so fun. I love that, and I've heard amazing things about the biathlon circuit. But I'm curious, then, like your first exposure. So whether it was maybe that very initial camp that you did after your fourth year of college, or maybe even it was last year, the first time you went to, like you were like, I'm gonna commit to this. What was your first exposure to biathlon like? Was it intimidating? Was it chaotic? Like, how did you feel kind of like stepping into that world as sort of a newbie?
Um, I would say my first camp where I first got to shoot a biathlon rifle, I was like, no way this can be smoother than what I'm doing right now. Like, how are people good at this? Like, this is absolutely insane. And then you learn how to shoot a rifle and you learn how many different little things go into it. Like, even just pulling the trigger has like so many thoughts that can go into it. And you're like, now I'm learning that biathletes are continually evolving. Like, everybody's changing things on their rifles, learning new positioning. Like, you're always, always can be more precise, I guess.
Hmm.
um, yeah, so that at first was really intimidating. And now looking back at like where I started with my shooting, I'm really like excited to see like where it can go again or go in the future. Um, but then stepping on the scene with going to my first competitions and my first World Cups last year, it was just absolutely insane to me to see how many people are at biathlon races when there's like barely a whisper of biathlon in the US. Like, I know I haven't really dived into the biathlon community in the US, but I've just been like in the cross country community in Minneapolis, and like there are biathletes in Minnesota, but like not really in Minneapolis. So I wasn't really exposed to it, but it's crazy in Europe.
Yeah. It's basically, I mean, it seems as though it's the crowds that were at the Minneapolis World Cup. That's like a pretty typical biathlon World Cup in Europe. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I wasn't at the Minneapolis World Cup, and I'm sure I would have been overwhelmed by the amount of people that were there. Um, but yeah, I would say a typical biathlon World Cup is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy on the spectator numbers.
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
average. And it's, you had shared something with me last week that like it's not even people who are biathletes or are even cross country skiers. They're just like
Hmm.
fans or just people, it's like someone going to the a football game, an NFL game, where
Yeah.
it's like they're not players, like they don't, maybe they didn't ever play football, but they're just there to watch this sporting event, to have a really great time with their friends, to probably have a couple of beverages while they're there and to cheer things on. And it's like not, I feel like on the cross country side we think like, oh, it's like how many skiers or fans of the sport can we get there? And it's not even fans of the sport, it's just like fans of sports or
Yeah.
of any
They're
sport,
just
right?
sport fans.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's so fun in biathlon that you can root for your country and like there is a potential that they will win. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels kind of like on the cross country side, there's always this big Norwegian like wave that's coming through and winning all these races. Um, but on the biathlon side, things are so unpredictable. So having the shooting, I think, as a focal point for those spectators is like you can be rooting for anybody, and like, or you can root for everybody. Like, I think that's just super fun that the biathlon family is like is like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you talked about kind of how quickly you've learned how to improve your shooting, right? You go back from like the first time you ever shot a biathlon rifle
Hmm.
versus now. And so clearly, like, there's very rapid increase in ability to perform. But then if you think back on kind of when you were first learning still, like that first, maybe last summer when you
Hmm.
were first kind of committing to things, um, did you feel like you had any expectations for yourself to like how quickly you're going to learn, or are you just like going to try to survive? Or did you feel like was it like a freeing feeling where, there's no previous results here to kind of define or to carry with you, like it's all brand new
Hmm.
and so there's no pressure? Like, what did that kind of new exploration feel like?
Yeah, last season at least, it was really nice not having any expectation or any baseline actually of how I would stack up against the rest of the biathlon field. So it is really freeing not knowing how you're going to do.
Hmm.
And even this year I have that again because I'm still very new to this sport, so I realistically don't know how well I could be, how good I could be. Um, yeah, but I think going back to like the shooting expectations on myself, like I had no idea how fast I was gonna learn how to shoot, and like I'm still learning. Um, but yeah, the learning curve was definitely steep. So like I learned all the basics, and then now I'm kind of just fine tuning what I have. And of course, there are so many people that are much better shooters than I am. Um, but I'm just slowly learning their tricks, and hopefully I'll hit some more targets soon.
So was there a moment when, like, going throughout last season where you're like, oh, like this could work, or like I'm actually kind of good at this and wow, this is going to take me places?
Um, Honestly, not really last season. I think last season I was more just learning and building my base of doing biathlon races. But then this past summer, we actually had a camp in Antholz, which is our Olympic venue, and we had a couple time trials there, and I fully cleaned, so I hit all of my targets in a sprint time trial that we did, and that was kind of my first moment that I was like, "Oh, that was awesome. Like I want to do that every time."
Yeah.
And like now that I've done it, I know that I can do it again, you know? So just like waiting every day for that next clean
Yeah.
race, and we'll see where that puts me.
Yeah. How often does that happen? Has it happened since then? No.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't really gotten the chance to race this year, so hopefully this weekend we'll see.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, honestly, cleaning is pretty rare on like even on the World Cup. I think last weekend they're in the men's pursuit for the World Cup. There was only one person that cleaned, and it was Campbell Wright. Oh, maybe that was 2 weekends ago. But anyway, like that's how insane it is. Like that's a field of 60 athletes, and only one of them is cleaning this race. Like that's absolutely wild. And I think the day before in the women's race, nobody cleaned.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the conditions and like if it's windy or not. Um, Yeah, so it's kind of rare to clean even when you're a top level biathlete.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that kind of is a great segue into this next topic that I want to talk to you about, and it's kind of the
Hmm.
mental game around biathlon and some of the pressure or, the volatility that can come with all of the different variables that are in
Hmm.
biathlon. And there's so much unpredictable um, stuff that can happen, right? Like you've got wind, you got
Yeah.
shooting, penalties. So how has it been like learning to shoot under pressure? How has that changed the way you think about racing? and both in build up to the race, like how are you preparing yourself mentally before the race, but then also how you reflect on your race after, do you think that was a good race, bad race, or wherever? How do all of those variables now fit into like Lucy's mental game for competing?
Yeah. Um, so since there are so many variables, honestly, it's really nice to be able to like find one. It's easier to be able to find one thing that you did well in a race, and then you can kind of push away all the other things that went wrong. Like in my last biathlon race, shot I missed four in my standing, and even though that was like a bad race for me, honestly, I it was really nice. I was able to focus on my ski time and say, hey, like I'm fit right now. Like if I just hit those targets and like focus on the next race, the next one will be better. So I think with biathlon, it's easier to kind of um, push away and not necessarily forget about the bad races, but you can learn a lot from them and then move on.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know if it's really translated yet into my cross country skiing because it's more, there's only one variable really, like it's how hard you can go. Maybe your skis were bad, but like there's one thing going on and that's you going hard. So I think it's harder when you're a cross country skier to kind of forget about the bad races, um, because the next weekend you're doing the same thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but I think it's really important to just like move on
Hmm.
and like learn from it and just know that it'll be better.
Yeah. Well, there are so many like little things that you can learn from it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it does make cross country skiing seem so simple in that it's like your body and maybe your mind and the skis, and that's it. And it's those three things. And relatively, that is
Mm-hmm.
quite simple compared to biathlon, where there is wind and shooting and all these other things that play into it. And even like you mentioned, just your rifle setup can be so different. Like
Mm-hmm.
each individual's rifle setup is different. You can change yours from race to race. So that is crazy just to think about like how many, yeah, just variables are involved and how you can hopefully then always take at least one good thing, hopefully multiple good things away from a race, and kind of focus on that positive aspect of it. But I'm curious then, like, coming from cross country, are there any habits or technique cues that have really helped you perform in biathlon?
Mm-hmm.
Or on the other side, are there any that you have had to almost unlearn because it, on the biathlon side, is maybe slightly different?
Honestly, I would say that my skiing is basically the same
Hmm.
when I'm cross country skiing versus with a rifle on my back. My one cue for biathlon is making sure I'm staying on my toes and like being more forward or like actively trying and thinking about being more forward on my skis just because there is that weight on your back. And like you do
Hmm.
need to think about that with cross country skiing, but it's so much more important with biathlon to be like getting up on your toes and like getting your weight in front of you. Um, because otherwise you're falling backwards down the hills
Yeah,
and that's like that's free energy you're wasting, you know?
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
a good point. I know that the how much does the biathlon rifle weigh?
Oh my gosh.
Is it
I
like
don't know. I
9?
I think it's like I should know this. I feel like it's like 6 kilograms or something.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
That sounds about right.
like 14 pounds, 15 pounds maybe, which is like
Yeah.
a significant amount, right? To suddenly
Yeah.
put 15 pounds on your back. Like, do you feel like when you are say skiing with a rifle on your back versus then taking it off and then putting it back on, are you like, whoa, I have to like adjust my hips or like adjust where my center of gravity is because there's that much weight added? Or does it just feel so natural to you at this point?
Um, Actually, today was my first time skiing with the rifle in like a week since being in Davos with the ski team, and I will say it was very heavy today. It felt really heavy. Yeah, but just focusing on like getting the weight forward, I think is the most important part. And like also realizing that everybody else has a rifle on their back. It's
Yeah,
not just
true.
you. So like if you're feeling slower, you're not actually because everybody else has the same handicap, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so what does success look like for Lucy right now? Is it results? Is it shooting improvement? Is it joy? Like what does Lucy want to get out of this season?
My main focus on the season and priority is being happy because I think it's really easy when you're over in Europe and like kind of stuck on a circuit for a while to get stuck into a hole of like, oh, my results aren't good or like I'm not getting the race starts that I want. So prioritizing being happy and like um making friends and like finding little moments that aren't related to skiing or biathlon in any way every day, I think is really the my main important thing that I'm doing this year. Um,
So
yeah.
so how do you do that? What does that look like to stay happy?
Well, I've been trying to like, yeah, do something that's not biathlon related and also getting out of my hotel room. I think the most important thing that I've been doing this year is not being in my hotel room all day and
Hmm.
like going outside for a walk or finding a little nook in the hotel to like read my book or knit or even just like scroll on my phone, not in my bed.
Yeah.
um, Doing things like that. Um, Definitely like exploring the towns that I'm in, I think is so important because it's such a privilege to be able to be in Europe and traveling around, but like normally you don't really get to see a lot of the town or like or the area that you're around because you're just at the venue all day. So on the days that I have some time, it's fun to go and explore and like and get a coffee and a sweet treat at a bakery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
those are my things.
yeah. I know you also do a lot of knitting and crocheting. So can
Mhm.
you share like what project are you working on right now and how does knitting and or crocheting kind of come into your day-to-day habits?
Yeah. So right now I'm working on a pair of leg warmers and they're actually really fun. I don't know if any knitters listen to your podcast, but they're
I have no
cable knit.
idea.
They'll know what this means.
Yeah.
They're cable knit, and I've never done a cable knit before, so it's kind of fun. It's engaging for my brain to be doing something so like it's not like tedious, but it's you have to think about it enough that you're not thinking about anything else, which I think is
Hmm.
really nice. It kind of is a zen moment where you're not stressed about anything else. You're just focused on your knitting. And my favorite part about knitting while I'm on the road is then I have another piece in my wardrobe. Because it gets really boring getting ready every day when I only have like two shirts.
Yeah.
And I've had them for 5 months. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, yeah, but I love knitting and I think it's the perfect travel craft because you can bring it anywhere. And
Yeah.
you can also buy yarn everywhere, which is great and also bad because half my half my bag is yarn at this point. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. I do feel like it is like the perfect activity for this lifestyle where so I like grew up knitting with my sister, just like little projects and
Mhm.
stuff, but hadn't really touched it in many, many years then. And then last year the team was in Lillehammer and a few of the girls wanted to either they had like recently taken up knitting or wanted to try knitting. And so we like all went down to this yarn shop and I kind of was looking at things and I'm like, well, it's been like a long time since I've done this. And then finally I was like, well, sure, like I'll give myself another activity to do. Not that I need another activity because I seem to keep myself plenty
So
busy,
many
but
things to do.
I got a new pair of needles and some yarn and started making hats, which I had never made a hat before. And it is such a fun activity that, you can do like pre-race. So it takes your mind off of the racing, but it's also not stressful.
Hmm.
Like you're not studying for school, you're not doing work where it's like any amount of like added stress is on your plate.
Yeah,
It's really just kind of like I'm going to use my brain and my hands to productively create this thing while also, resting for a race that's coming up. And it's like you said, very zen, it's like peaceful and methodical and just like a perfect
yeah,
little activity. So I'll just say
that's
it's like
great.
it's been a fun thing for me to re-explore too. I'm not quite at your level. I have no idea what cable knitting is. I'm working on it.
Maybe you'll find out. You'll
Okay.
find a cable knit project.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so zen. It's relaxing. I love it.
Yeah.
It's something to do with your brain and your hands that's not stressing about your next race, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, I just have a few more questions and I kind of want to wrap things up about like how you have then continued to balance both biathlon and cross country. So last year you did some biathlon races in Europe early in the season and then you traveled back to the US to race at US Nationals where you had great results. You qualified then for cross country World Cup races, but then you had also qualified for biathlon World Cup races. And so you came back to Europe again by January to start competing in both. And you kind of hopped back and forth between the two circuits and you've been able to kind of consider or you've been able to continue to do that this year a little bit now. So like how is that going? What is that crazy to jump back and forth? Like how did it feel the first time you realized like wow, I've qualified for both these cross country World Cups and biathlon World Cups in the same
Mhm.
season? What was that like last year?
Last year was crazy because I had no, like, coming into nationals, I had no I had no idea how fast I was going to be because I knew
Hmm.
I had been racing pretty fast on like in the biathlon circuit, but again, there's not really much overlap. So coming into nationals, I had no expectation of doing that well, and then qualifying for World Cups was absolutely insane. So, and that had always been a dream of mine. Growing up doing JNs, you go to REG, they're like, oh, the next Jesse Diggins is in this
Yeah.
room. You're like, oh, could it be me? I don't know.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to be able to go do those cross country World Cups last year. And I also had no expectation on the biathlon side. Like, I didn't even expect to make it for IVU Cup last year. I thought I was going to be like right on the edge, maybe doing some IBU Cup racing, probably doing some Super Tour racing, but being able to spend most of my season over in Europe racing World Cups last year was crazy, and I'm so happy that I'm able to do it again this year.
Yeah. How has that come about, I guess? Like, can you share with people
Hmm.
um what has the first part of this season looked like for you?
Yeah. So honestly, I didn't really know if I was going to be able to do the cross country World Cups this year. Um, just because of the way that cross country selects the World Cup team is like they select in like July for the
Hmm.
first period. So it was kind of hard knowing that I had cross country World Cup starts and then not knowing what my biathlon season was going to look like until after our trials in October. Um, so it was kind of a mental, like, I don't know, it was really hard for me to decide what cross country starts I was going to accept without feeling like I was abandoning the biathlon side of things. Um, so picking Davos and those starts was really important to me, just because I knew that at this point in the season I would probably want a little break from biathlon, like mental break, um, and just like I don't know,
Physical break
seeing
from
different
carrying the
people,
rifle.
people break. Like I
Yeah,
love all my US biathlon teammates, but you spend five
it's
months
a
with the
lot.
same
It's a
people.
lot.
Like it's kind of fun to go like do something different for a week and then come back and have stories to share.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I'm really happy that it ended up working out that I was able to do the Davos World Cup and also do some biathlon World Cups, which it's really hard to come by those starts this year because we only have 3 spots for women. Um, and I know like all my teammates could also do really well on the World Cup circuit, so it's been an interesting season so far. And I know it's similar for the cross country side with selection and stuff. But yeah, that's why my main goal is to be happy and not be stressed because whatever happens this season, it will be fun.
Yes. There
And
you go.
I'm in Europe and I'm getting to race, and it's gorgeous and it's so fun.
Yeah. Has there been any changes from like last season compared to this season in terms of your preparation during the summer and fall? Like last season, I feel like you said it was all kind of new. You were learning a lot, you were going with it. So then this year,
Mm-hmm.
did you have a lot more confidence throughout the summer and fall, or were you doing anything different in your like ski training or your rifle training practice
Yeah.
sessions?
Um, Honestly, coming into this training season, knowing how to shoot a rifle was awesome
Hmm.
because I wasn't starting from zero anymore. Like I was able to build on the skills that I already had. So I think now I'm definitely a way better shooter, and that shows in my like shooting times and my hit percentage. That you can see all the data on the IBU app. But then on
Okay.
the skiing side of things, I I think prioritizing strength this past
Mm.
summer has been really important for me. And um, the biathlon national team coach he's been on me all summer. He's like, "You're tall. You need to do more core because you have long levers. Like you need to use your upper body." So I've been trying to use my upper body more and build my core. And also with that strength, also really prioritizing my nutrition and making sure I'm getting enough protein. Because like, so if you're not thinking about what you're putting into your body, like then you're not like, uh, I don't want to say that because you don't want to think too much about it. But like I've been taking like having protein shakes after going to the gym or doing a hard interval session, and I think just having that extra boost of nutrition has really helped um, improve my strength. Yeah,
Yeah,
build my
that's
muscles.
cool. Yes. Everyone can go back and listen to the episode I did with Tashana, the strength coach. So,
Oh
strength is
yeah.
just so important for skiers. So, just a little shout out there. Okay, a final
Yay.
serious question. How has Team Berkey been part of your support system throughout the last 2 years?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love Team Rookie. I was really sad this summer that I wasn't able to train a ton with the team just because I like have some really good friends on the team now, and um that's always a bummer to not be home when everybody's home. But that's just the social aspect of Team Berkey. But Team Berkey, as my club, it's been so important to have that funding from them to be able to do these cross country World Cups because I'm not on the US ski team. Like any athletes that aren't on the US ski team don't really get any funding from them. So it's really important to have that support from Team Berkey financially to be able to do these World Cups. Yeah, like I would say, the main thing. And also being able to work with Chad has been really awesome for uh, like he's great for advice like this summer when I was deciding whether or not I wanted to do Davos. He's a really good person to talk it out with. Yeah, just the Team Rookie coaching staff is awesome. Yeah,
Big shout
that's
out to
Team
Team
Berkey. I
Berkey.
love Team Berkey.
Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely would not be possible for me to do any cross country World Cups without the support of Team Berkey. So thank you. Woo.
Thank you, Team Berkey. Okay. We're gonna close things up with a little bit of rapid fire questions. So these are just quick little questions. And we are gonna start it off with quite a tough one.
No.
Biathlon or cross country? Which one do you choose?
Biathlon.
Oh, okay. That was so quick. Okay.
I
That's
know,
it.
but never mind. I will not expand further.
Yeah, they're rapid fire. We gotta be quick. That's just quick answers. Okay. Favorite European snack that you've discovered either this season or last season?
Stroop waffles, which I know are in the US, but like the ones that you can get in like Germany, oh, so good. So good.
Best thing you've ever knitted or crocheted?
I have a sweater. It's right over there. Do you want to see it?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Here's my sweater. This is my most
So
recent project.
cute. Oh,
Okay.
love it. Love it. Okay. Okay, shooting prone or standing? Which do you prefer?
Prone.
Okay. Go-to travel comfort item.
Well, another knitted item that I have, it's this like hood that wraps around. Oh, I love it for traveling because I'm just so cozy.
Nice.
Oh wait,
Okay, you
here.
got it. Let's see.
My
Oh,
Sophie
so
scarf.
cozy. Oh,
It's so
love
good. I
it.
love it.
All right, well, listeners can now go find this on YouTube. Also, just quick shout out there.
Yes.
So
Sophie
they want to
scarf.
see Lucy
Knitters
style.
will know
Yeah.
what that is.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, most chaotic travel day this season. In one word, what happened?
Oh, customs
With a rifle?
with my rifle. Flying from the Ostersund Biathlon World Cup to go to the Davos World Cup, I was stuck in customs for like 4 hours with my rifle in Zurich,
Oh my gosh.
and
Wow.
that was ridiculous.
Wow.
But I made it. I made
Yeah.
it. Like
Honestly impressive.
I had two layovers that were like 30 minutes, and at both layovers they were like, you got to go through customs, and I would just like go up to the next desk and be like, please, can you put my rifle on this plane? And then they were like,
Wow.
yeah, it's on, you're fine. And then I made it to
Wow.
Zurich, and it was great. Thank you, SAS.
There we go. Okay, dream place to ski just for fun, no racing. Ooh, that's so good. Yes, okay.
I haven't been. The one and only time I've been was World Juniors. Yeah,
Mm.
wait, U23s. I went my senior year of college, junior year. I don't remember. But it was in Oslo, and we had our pre-camp in Shushin, and it was gorgeous. So I'll go back again.
Yeah, it is wonderful. Okay, final question. One thing people would be surprised to know about you.
I speak Spanish.
Ooh,
I guess
fluently?
that's not that surprising, but yeah. I
That's
went
cool.
to actually I attended Robbinsdale Spanish Immersion School for elementary school with the Rudds, with
Gosh,
Hannah and Leah Rudd.
wow, that is super
Yeah.
cool. Love
hmm
that.
So
All
it
right,
hasn't
Lucy.
come in handy yet, but not many Spanish speakers on the biathlon circuit, but
Yeah,
I'll
does
find
the
one.
biathlon circuit go to Spain ever?
I know, and I don't think there's any Spanish athletes.
Oh,
There's one, and there's a couple Mexican athletes too. Some Argentinians. I need to build up the courage to talk to them.
yeah, make some friends
Yeah,
with the Spanish
exactly.
speaking people.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Um, okay, Lucy, thank you so much. This has been so fun. I love chatting with you, and I am wishing you the best of luck tomorrow in the relay and then this weekend also. So, go get them and hope you shoot clean. I don't
Yeah,
think that's how you say it,
I hope
but
so too.
yeah, that'd be
Thank you,
sweet.
Elena. This was so fun. Thank you for having me, and
Yeah.
have a wonderful break.
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening to this episode of Extra Blue, and thank you, Lucy, for joining me on the podcast. If you're interested in following more of Lucy's story, you can find her on Instagram at Lucinderella, spelled Lucinderella. You can also follow more of the US Biathlon Instagram page at US Biathlon Team. It will be a very exciting season for Lucy as she follows that path towards happiness, chasing cross country and biathlon. And I hope you join me in cheering for Lucy all season long.